Right, everybody, welcome to the Wolfpack podcast. It's great to be here. It's been a long time coming, to be honest. You know, we've wanted to do this for a while, and I feel right now with the situation with Wolves, it's perfect. It's the perfect time. So much to talk about. We're going to structure it differently to every other podcast. We're going to add little segments, but to be honest, the main part, we're going to talk about Leicester, talk about that horrific game, to be fair. Then we're going to go on to the ownership situation, Scott Sellers, Jeff Shy. And then to end it off, obviously Brentford, we're going to preview that. And then I've got a few segments where I think we're going to add this. It's going to be called Tweet of the Week. I'm going to go through a few tweets that I personally enjoy looking at. And then I've got some questions on my phone from Instagram that we're going to just get answer at the end and see what happens. So let's start with Leicester, lads. I mean, what a joke of a game. I'm going to just say my thoughts first. Yeah. Obviously, starting positive. You know, first 5-10 minutes, I thought it was decent. I thought the energy was good. The crowd was sort of getting behind the lads. And then it got to, obviously, Johnny giving away that free kick. Ball comes in. Johnny again, sadly, poor clearance. And then Yuri Tielemans, I mean, Christ me, unreal goal. Fair play to it. But the worst part is everyone's discussed this. I'm not saying anything new here. The worst part is how the lads the heads just dropped, didn't it? You know, they just thought the mentality of the lads there weren't great, to be honest. It's quite worrying actually watching that. And then second goal, obviously the 1-2 between Dewsbury. I'm going to go Dewsbury. Dewsbury and what's his name? Harvey Barnes. Johnny's on his arse. Yeah. I don't know if he's off balance or like, you know, he's sort of, I think they're just too quick for him and then he ends up slipping. Yeah. I can't really excuse him for that, to be fair. Yeah. And then obviously, you know, he's giving it large to the South Bank, and he, as you'd expect, sure there are a few wanker signs in there. Well, there was, I know that. And then obviously third goal, Maddison, I think it was.
Near post.
Yeah, just way too easy. I think it's Collins that's, you know, to be fair to him, doesn't really get tight enough. He's sort of struggling. And then it's a good finish, to be fair. I think it bounces in front of Sarr. Fair play to him, decent finish. Yeah. Very good player. And then the Vardy goal, I mean, I predicted this before. I seen he weren't starting, and I said to my dad, he's going to come on and he's going to do the Wolf, because he did it last season, didn't he?
Yeah.
The King Power. He did that, didn't he? And obviously, it's a cross goal tap in, first goal of the season for him. It's just like, yeah, great. So, Henry, what are your thoughts, mate? I've pretty much summed it up there, but anything you want to add? You know,
I mean, everything about it sort of summed up a club that's at the lowest it could be in the situation it is right now. I mean, obviously, it's not the lowest it could be. We could be like, you know.
Yeah, we've been lower, but yeah.
Exactly. We could be going into administration, etc. But in terms of what our realistic situation is, that game was probably the worst case scenario, really, wasn't it? Mistakes everywhere. Semedo got dropped in midweek for 2 mistakes, and Johnny somehow managed to perform a lot worse than that. I thought Semedo was all right in midweek against Crystal Palace.
Especially first half, he was brilliant,
Yeah.
Really good first half.
He undid all that work. Second
Sadly,
half, with the mistake for the header. He should have tracked back more. Then Johnny, I mean, we don't want to talk about it. I mean, Matt's already said it, just a horrible performance. I'm surprised he made it to half time.
He was playing like he had an ACL, to be fair. Like, he genuinely was.
Yeah.
You know?
Let alone 60 minutes. And the funniest thing was, I thought I'd add this in. I was at the game on Sunday it was. And in the warm-up, Leicester were practicing half volleys from the end of the ball. And I was just thinking,
that's class.
Surely there's a better use of time than practicing half volleys. But then Tielemans obviously proved me wrong. But it's an unbelievable goal. And then the 3 goals after just stunk of a team that were absolutely on the floor of confidence. Little 1-2, you know, I mean, it's nice play, but for a Premier League defence, that's way too easy. And then Sarr did nothing. Third goal, Maddison again. Could say Sarr, I think, as you said, Matt said, I think it bounced in front of him, near post. Mm-hmm. Not really much you can do. It's a good finish. But again, he's just not tight enough. And then Vardy, obviously an easy finish. And yeah, it was just a horrible performance. You could see as soon as the first goal went in, the players' confidence went down. And I think the fans did as well. You could see, and they started getting on their back, and it started getting a little bit.
I mean, the chance, weren't it, which we'll move on to a bit. John, anything to add, mate?
I just feel like the whole team just seems unfit to me. It's just like what happened in pre-season? Did they not do enough? Because they just don't seem fit compared to so many other teams. It just seems like they're not the Wolves that we know. They just seem to be so like some of them are jogging. That I don't know if it's more attitude. They can't be bothered to run after players, but it's almost just like they're jogging and they can't be arsed.
For me personally, it's confidence. I think they're just shattered the confidence. I think a few of them you can definitely say need to be trying more and need to be putting in 100% each game. But honestly, I think mentally they're just out of it at the minute, and
nothing's coming off, is it?
Exactly. I mean, what was
coming off?
Talking about the Leicester game, I think we had our most shots this season or something like that? Or highest
definitely
XG.
most shots.
21.
Yeah, and obviously Leicester 4 shots, 4 goals, clinical at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and I just think sadly, there's so lack of confidence everywhere. It comes from defence. At the start of the season, defence were decent. I think we had a good record.
Best in the league.
At one point, and then
in terms of stats anyway.
And then, the defence was sort of helping us, I mean? They were sort of doing really well. And it's just the midfield, defence, even Jose
goalkeeper,
striker.
Yeah, Jose Sar's.
It's just all dried out, hasn't it? Because you couldn't rely on the defence for so long because we weren't scoring goals.
It's like we need something to go in off someone's arse or something. It's not going to happen for us, is it? It's
like that Warnock meme. Get it off your testicles. Something I don't even know.
But it just seems it's the people that have been sat on the bench are the only people we can bring in that bring confidence. So you bring in Hugo, does amazing. You bring in Boubacar Traore. God knows why he's started like one game this season. I think it was the Palace game. He should be starting others because he's got confidence. He runs. He looks like he wants to be there. Yeah. Even Hwang, you bring Hwang on, he'll run his ass off. Whereas some of the others, they just can't be arsed. So I think there's definitely going to have to be some jigging around of the lineup.
Hodge and Campbell. No, I said Hwang. Hodge and Campbell coming off the bench. At least they might not have the best performance. They might not do much, but at least you can see them working.
That tackle from Hodge at Forest when he come on. I mean, it's just you want to see that, don't you? You want to see the young lads caring and showing that passion.
And then after the Forest game, you saw. I was watching it on the stream. I wasn't there that time, but all the players let drop to their knees after it. You could see how much of a big win it was. Even
Costa, Martino on the bench, they were loving it.
Even though it should have been a routine win, you could see how much it meant, and it's just so disappointing.
and that's the thing for me. I think they're so low on confidence, but I think most of them genuinely do care. I think a lot of people are saying they don't care one bit. I do think some of them care. It's just it's hard to say they care when they're performing so bad and looking so lethargic.
I think they're very emotional players. I just think that as soon as they get upset, that's it. Like they get drained. Whereas you get some teams and they can handle it. And I just think they're that kind of, just that kind of football club where everyone's really emotional.
Anyway, let's go on to a very big talking point. The ownership, Scott Sellers, Jeff Shy, and sort of the overall situation when it comes to the manager, that sort of thing. So I'm going to talk about it in my opinion to start with. Okay. And then I'll go to you, lads, see what you think. So, obviously, Scott Sellers, a huge talking point at the minute. To be honest, he's not the man for the job. Everyone knows that. No experience, no real idea of what he's doing. Obviously, talking about the tactics side, where he's been. I'll show a photo later when I go to the tweets. But the sort of him being involved in the tactics. In my opinion, that's not what he should be doing.
Tactics on the board. It's fine. Tactics.
I could do them, to be fair. Hugo Bueno overlapping. I could have done that. Jeff Shy is a huge talking point. Obviously, under a lot of scrutiny at the minute. He went for this new model, didn't he? Everyone knows. Got rid of 2 senior figures in the club, and he's gone for this new approach. And at the end of the day, when the club's doing poor, you go to the ownership, don't you? You blame the ownership. And the reason they're doing so bad is because they don't have any footballing brains. It's facts. They're getting exposed, really. Obviously, we talk about the club spending 100 million in the summer, which I think was obviously positive. Signed some brilliant players.
Needed to be done
on paper, but it had to be done 100%. And then obviously overall, the managerial situation, it's a complete mess. I think at the time, fans were a bit more lenient. And then it come to Villa sacking their manager and getting Unai Emery or maybe another club that got a new manager at the time. But everyone just
Brighton
maybe not during the time, but Brighton's a bit. I know what you mean. And let's be honest, Steve Davis, in my opinion, look, he does love the club. You have to say that. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
he's not really the man, is he?
Yeah,
Like you talk about the managerial bounce. We got that at Forest, but it's gone now. It's completely gone.
I don't think anyone's slating Steve Davis, to be honest.
They are, but the reality is he ain't experienced enough, is he? You know.
I mean, if people are slating
Steve Davis,
I don't really think they should be, but
that's fair. It's your opinion.
Everyone's their own, but I just don't. I think he's been thrown in at the deep end. He doesn't expect to be given it to 2023. He said in his press conference that he needed help when he was talking about Rob Edwards. He said it's no secret, we need help. So I feel a little bit bad for him, especially with the club he loves. He's struggling a little bit, but I think it was the wrong decision ultimately to do that to someone so
100%.
relatively not fit for the job. You'd say.
Anything on Sellers, Jeff Shy, manager?
Well, I think for me, I just think it's just the whole setup is just unprofessional. We knew straight away we
no structure, zero structure.
There's no preparation. I think I said to you boys before that you look at a really well-run football club and they will know all the time if someone pays a release clause, which many managers have, who's going to be the targets, where if they're going to be available, if they have these people available. Like Brighton, they always have 3 people available.
An example.
Yeah, and they can just basically get it done within a week or 2 weeks, and it's all sorted. And I know we have been a little bit unlucky with Lopetegui and Beale, but I just feel like they should have known before they got rid of Bruno. I'm not saying sacking him was the right decision, but I think we saw the signs that he was going to get sacked weeks before he got sacked, and that's where they should have been really going in for it. And
everyone knows really with Lopetegui, he was the only option, to be honest. I think as soon as obviously he sort of said no because of his dad, they were just fucked, weren't they? After that, they just really had no plan B. They were trying for these. Go on.
One thing I would say is that you look at Bruno, and obviously I think he needed to be sacked. I think
100%. I agree.
He couldn't go on. I'm not saying I disagree with that decision, but just like Jon said, if you're going to sack your manager, you need to have your targets. And if you're going to have your targets, don't make them so public that it makes you look like a laughing stock.
I mean, the Ornstein tweet with Michael Beale was the biggest example. You know, from that tweet, he had loads of QPR fans saying, "Oh, he's only been here 3 months." What an unloyal man. Yeah. And he's probably seen that and thought, they're completely right. And then he's come out publicly. So
I don't know why you make it public. And then when you get rejected by a Sony manager, it was like 3 that we know about. There was the other Spanish bloke. I don't know. I'm not sure on his name.
Marcelino.
Someone like that.
Yeah, I think I know you're on about it.
Yeah, Talking Wolves put out a tweet on that. I don't think I've ever seen it, but
Sport Witness as well.
Yeah, and then Lopetegui and then Beale, obviously, which was very, very public. I just think it just makes you look like a laughing stock. And as a Premier League club, you can't be getting rejected by so many managers, especially with a club of our if you look at our players, we should be a European challengers. I think there's something fundamentally wrong there.
I mean, for me, you look at the Tottenham tweet at the start of the season, and if you go on the quote tweets there of our lineup, everyone's saying it's top 3 midfield in the league. You know,
well, yeah, I mean,
every tweet there is complimenting our team and saying, we should be getting Europe here. And it's sad how the reality is we're battling relegation at this point.
I can name the 6, the midfielders and the forward from that game. It was Neves, Nunes, Moutinho, which is, I mean, it's a really. If you look at if you think of Moutinho of old and how he was when he first came, that should
technically he still is unreal. He just doesn't have the legs. Everyone knows that. He has been poor this season.
And then the 3 forwards, you've got Pedence, Guedes, and Neto. It was Neto. If he can get to the levels before he has his injury, which I think it might. I still have faith that he will, but I think it's going to take confidence. And then Pedence on his day is unbelievable. I mean, flicks and tricks
on his day.
And that day is 1 in 10 matches, isn't it? And he's so frustrating to watch sometimes. I think it might have been the Palace game. He went on the floor from a challenge. He just rolled around, even though the foul hadn't been given. So frustrating. I think they might have scored from that as well. It's just so frustrating to watch. And then
he loves a flick as well. Oh my days! He does about 10 flicks a game. Like, okay, when
it's just pointless.
The sideline with simple passes on.
I know it's the way he plays. But when it works, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but it don't really work very often.
I think we're at the stage now where we've got to almost do whatever it takes to win and almost be like Burnley last season and just play caveman football. No flicks, no fancy stuff, straight, accurate passing.
At the end of the day, we just got to go back to basics, haven't we, and get results.
Yeah.
If it is a point at the Brentford Community Stadium, we'll get to that. We'll get to formation. We'll get to formation when we preview Brentford.
Touching on the midfield about obviously how good they are, I think really we've just been playing. They are a really good midfield. I just think we've been playing them out of position.
The
position.
Only Wolves could play their record signing out of position pretty much every game. And you've got people on Facebook going. You got people on Facebook going. Doesn't seem worth the money to me.
Bob from Bilston kicking off on Facebook saying he's shit, and you're like, well, he's not. He's just not played. He's like getting Van Dijk and play him as a midfielder. It ain't going to work. Do you know what I mean? And
probably better than our midfield at the minute.
Yeah. But I just think even when you take Martino out of there and you got Boubacar, Nunes, and Neves, that's 3 quality midfields. So it should
100%. Really like Troy.
At least 10 teams in the league, but they've just got to get him in the right positions and get him managed properly. It's not the players' fault; it's the manager's fault.
Yeah, I think the players do need to look at themselves and they need to get themselves in gear. I think, as we mentioned at the start of the podcast, the mentality they've been showing ain't good enough in the Prem. They need to pick themselves back up. Once we concede, it's almost like, okay, we've lost here.
Yeah.
When it can't be that, it can't be that. But
you can see the fans think that too, because
as
soon as that first goal went in, I mean, it was completely deflated. Yeah, the players, the fans, everything. The body language was just so much different after the goal went in.
So I
think someone in the team's just got to stand up like Connor used to and just say, "Come on, we can still go for this," because no one's going around and getting people to basically chin up and get on with it. They just put their heads down and start crying, and then basically just.
To be fair to him, Diego Costa was doing that for the first 2 goals.
Yeah, I did see Costa do that. To be honest,
when the goal went in, he grabbed the ball, he put it down the spot. Threw the flare off the pitch, which I don't know why the players are having to throw flares off the pitch. Is there some kind of like protocol where the stewards can't get it or something?
He wouldn't touch it, would he? The steward, it was pissing me off.
Yeah. What makes it that the steward can't handle it, but like Martino is collecting 85 grand a week, can't touch it. It's like
crazy, man.
Anyway, let's go on to Brentford.
Okay.
Obviously, a big talking point is how do we line up? I'm going to give my personal lineup. My preferred lineup won't be what Steve Davis picks, but this is what I'd go for personally. So Jose Sarr in goal, Semedo right back, Collins, Kilman, 2 centre backs, back 4. This is Hugo Bueno left back, Boubacar Traore, Nunes, and Neves, and then front 3 of this is controversial.
Here we go.
It's not Hwang Hee-chan. It's not that controversial. But Guedes, Costa, and Adama. I don't think you can argue Adama. I think he's been our best player the past few games. He actually is. He's our biggest threat, simple as. Costa, everyone's going to go, oh, he ain't scored, but none of our team has, to be honest. He's getting chances, and I feel like once he gets 1 goal, it's not like he's washed. You know what I mean? He's getting in. What was that first chance of the game? He does a few step overs, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he does. His agility was unreal. That I thought, okay, fair play to him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he needs to start scoring, but the whole team does.
He had 8 shots. He had eight shots.
My point. Yeah, I've seen that stat.
He's not short of confidence.
My point is,
and he'll get fitter as well.
Himself chances. That's my opinion. I think you could have someone that isn't a striker up there, and they just be it anonymous and wouldn't touch the ball. At least he's getting involved in the play.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Guedes, obviously. He has been underwhelming. Let's be honest.
I don't know if Guedes is fit. I don't know if he's fit.
Oh, really? What? Just in general, or as in the squad?
No. Just at the moment. I don't. As in injury. I don't think he's.
I think a lot of it is mentality. I think I said you've seen him at Valencia, and he was scoring, he was assisting, he was taking players on. We saw that in Spurs game. That's the one flash that I've seen of it. And he was playing through the middle there, but he was drifting off, weren't he? He was drifting off to the left a lot.
He had about 4 or 5.
I mean, he couldn't hit a barn door with Banjo that game. But who cares? He was being proactive, weren't he? Yeah. And then obviously the big talking point about Brentford is back 3 or back 4. Henry, back 3, back 4. And then if you want, it might be a bit of effort, but you can go for your preferred lineup if you want. I've probably haven't planned it.
I have been thinking about this.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Right. I've not got it written down, so it's going to be a little bit of like.
Yeah, I did written down. I was cheating.
All right. Here we
Went on the
go.
spot.
Okay, so back five, back four. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I was like, I told you all along, back four would never work. I mean, as most people, a lot of people were, I was an advocate for back four. I thought we needed to do it. And the first 3 games of 2 seasons back, no, last season now, when Bruno came in, started with first 3 games, we played so well with the back four.
Yeah.
We just didn't score, did we? We could not score. I mean, we had so many chances. Trincao was looking good. Adam was looking amazing. Everyone was on point, and we just couldn't score for the life of us.
With so many shots.
Yeah, after that, we
Loads.
saw Bruno panicked, and obviously because we weren't getting points, even though we were playing so well.
I think you have to say it was the correct decision because if we kept in the score and kept losing, we'd be in a similar position to what we was in now, and it would have been sacked.
And then we went until January-ish on a really nice run. Actually, we went in a very nice looking position. I think it was probably 7th or 6th.
and then was it a double header against Arsenal that season?
Yeah, then we lost against Arsenal.
I don't think it was quite a double header, but we played Arsenal 2 times.
And
lost both games. It just went downhill, didn't it? Losses to Palace.
Anyway,
West Ham.
On the 5 at the back now. If you're going to keep Steve Davis until 2023, which it looks like we are, I know Liam Keane said today we could U-turn on that.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Yeah, I'll pull that tweet up.
At the moment, it looks like it'll probably still stay. To be honest with you, no outstanding candidates from what it looks like.
I just think with 3 games, it's like I don't know. I think the only thing that I'd bring a manager in is for this possible break during the World Cup. But anyway, carry on.
On the 3, I wouldn't be against it, I know it sounds bad, but I wouldn't be against it because we're not scoring. And the worst part is the defence now looks leaky. And if we keep playing like we did on Sunday, we're going to get Tony's
going to pump us at this.
By a decent side. And Brentford are a decent attacking side. So we're just going to get thumped if we keep doing that. So, and if Steve Davis is going to be in 2023, I wouldn't be opposed to just grinding out some results at the 5 at the back. So I think it could have to be done. And I think Totti next to Kilman and Collins could give them a little bit more confidence. Just to have another guy there that
So what would your lineup be? Do you think would you play Nunes, Neves, and then
we're gonna play devil's advocate here and say we're going for a 5.
Okay,
just to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of us here want the back 4 to work. We're just being realistic.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. I want the back 4, but we might have to grind out some results because unfortunately that's the position we're in. So with the back 5, spice it up a little bit. We'll go with Sarr, Totti, Collins, and Kilman.
Yeah.
And then in terms of wing backs, I think you've got to stick with Bueno and Semedo, and maybe even eight Nori over Bueno, depending.
I mean, it'd be harsh for Bueno, wouldn't it, if he was dropped? But I just think,
we'll be harsh.
I'd play Bueno first, as you know.
I'll probably.
It's got to be Nunes, Neves, hasn't it?
Yeah,
really?
You could go 2 ways with this. You could go a two in the middle and a 3 up top, or a 3 in the middle and a 2 up top, like we used to do under Bruno in the counter when we came up against
Jota, Jimenez,
Arsenal, like that. So you 2 options. I'm not going to give a definitive one, but in my opinion, your 2 options are Neves and Nunes in a 2 with Adama, Costa, Guedes or Pedence up top, or Nunes, Neves and Boubacar Traore with Adama and Costa up top, or Adama and Guedes if you want to go over. So when coming up against a team like City, we're going to be sitting back against. I don't think we do we play. I don't think we play City.
No, it's Arsenal before the World Cup. Yeah.
So someone like that, we could go for a 5-3-2 and have a counter-attacking side. But I think it's a side like Brentford where their defence has proven to be leaky, like against Villa. I think you've got to go with a 3. So I'd go with that back 5, Nunes, Neves, and then probably Guedes, Costa, Adama if Guedes is fit. To be honest, because I'm just getting really frustrated with Pedence at the moment.
I think Pedence is very creative, and I think you would lose at times from creativity if Pedence wasn't on. But he just goes too many games, and I really want Guedes to come through. Do you know what I mean? And he ain't going to come through coming off the bench. And against Leicester, he didn't even come on, did he? And that's not going to help him, to be honest.
That's what makes me think he's not fit.
Yeah.
Like, he's carried injury or something.
I think he has had knocks. I think, and Davis has mentioned them. But anyway, John, what are you saying, mate?
Well, I ain't going to mess around. 3 at the back straight away. It's going to be. I'm going to start at Nori even though I like Hugo, I just think it's time for Ignori to come back in the squad. Not that he's done anything wrong, Hugo. I just think Ignori's been sat down on the bench for too long now. I know he's been ill, but or unwell or whatever it was, but he's come back now. So I'd put Ignori in. I'd put Totti on the left. I'd put Kilman in the middle. Collins on the right. Put Semedo as right wing back. Midfield, I'd put Nunes. I'd put Neves up front. Podence, Costa, and Traore. And I'll tell in the squad right now, no more tippy-tappy bullshit football. It's got to be blood, sweat, snot, everything up front. I want people in the box. I don't want any more messing around. I think all of a sudden, because I've got this Portuguese flair to the football, that's got to get almost removed now. They just need to watch other teams. They need to watch Brentford, like we're playing. We need to watch how Brentford play. We need to watch how look at Bournemouth. Bournemouth have, I don't care what anyone says, Bournemouth have got shit players on paper, but they play like a team. They have heart. They don't mess around with no tippy-tappy bullshit. They get straight in, good passing, and they get anything they can on the ball to get it in the net. You know what I mean? Just literally throw your leg at anything. Just go mad to get the ball in the back of the net, because they're not doing it. There's still not enough people in the box. How many times has David said, I want to get people in the box? There's still not enough people in the box. You need someone that's behind Costa, feeding him.
Making a firm man run as well.
Exactly. And I think playing a free gets the fullbacks back in the game. Remember it, Nori last season. He can get up there. Semedo won't be scared to get up there because he knows he's got cover behind.
I agree.
We won't have that stupid gap between midfield and defence anymore, like we had against Leicester. Fucking waving Leicester to come in and free for all. That's the way to do it. I'm getting fed up now. It's a 3-4-3, I think, because it's the only way you're going to get the team.
That's going to be a quality clip on Twitter, that, John. That all.
It's true though. It's just I've had enough now, and
let's get this sorted.
I just think there's going to be the centre backs get confidence because they know someone's there helping them. The fullbacks get confidence because they know that they've got someone they turn around behind them. They've got more people helping them out. The midfields don't have to worry too much. They can think about getting up front. It just makes so much sense. And I'm not saying I want to go back to a 4, but we haven't got the squad to do it. I think we can go back to a 4 when a new manager comes in. He can do training. Maybe he brings in a fullback that he wants. We're probably one fullback away from playing a back 4, in my opinion. But at the moment, we haven't got two good enough fullbacks.
We haven't bought in a fullback since Bruno, have we?
No, we haven't.
I don't think we have now.
Saying that. So that means that all the fullbacks that we've had, including Bueno as he's come through the academy, have learned how to play in a back 5, which means that they're getting exposed at the 4 because they're not positionally aware in terms of how they've been trained to play for this squad for a lot of their career at Wolves. They've not been certain how to play in a 4. This is the first year they've been playing properly in a 4. When you look at eight Nori. Semedo. I know they played 4 at Barca, but in terms of their Wolves career, they've been playing 5 for most of it. I think they've been morphed into wing backs, so they need to rethought almost position wise.
So the last part on Brentford, let's have our score predictions. I'm going to be positive for no reason. I do an app where I predict the scores, and on that, I'm probably going to predict Brentford to win. But right now, for the podcast, I'm going to take one for the team. And I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves, a bit like last year.
He's scoring 2, Matt.
We're going to score 1. But, I think Costa's going to get his first goal. And I'm feeling a Kilman goal from a corner.
Kilman? Okay.
Yeah, Kilman goal from the corner.
I assume it's my turn to give a prediction.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, you go.
See, I used to do some match previews on my channel. I haven't been doing this recently, but I always used to predict Wolves to win, and it never ever works. Yeah. So I can't. I don't want to appeal like this really negative knobhead and just say, "Oh, we're going to lose. We're terrible."
We've just been realistic, aren't we? But I'm playing devil's advocate.
If we go, you know what? We're going to continue the positive. We're going to go with a 1-0 win because I think that's the best we can hope for.
We are our balls, aren't we? Predicting Wolves to win.
Yeah, I know. Bloody hell. This is out there. All right, okay. We're going to go with Nunes. We're going to go with Nunes goal.
Goal. He cut you off with the scorers there. Scorer. John, what are you saying?
I just feel like we're going to get a bit of a bounce back from this. I think this is a really bad defeat against Leicester, and I think they felt it. And I think after the game they felt it with their families and stuff. And I think going to, it can sound crazy, but I think even like this open training, seeing the fans, you're going to show some footage later, but them engaging with the fans this week, I think it's really going to boost them a little bit. So I think
really
we are
hope
going to
so.
play better.
I really do.
Yeah, even if we play 4 or 3, I think we're going to play better. And I think
crossed.
personally it's going to be a draw, and I think it'll be a big point. But I think we're going to go with a draw. I just feel like we're going to get something out of this game, and I think we've got a goal in this game because I think Brentford aren't the best defensively, but they are pretty good.
I mean, look at Villa. Villa absolutely pumped them. So
yeah. You just got to find the gaps. If they can find the gaps, you can get a goal. But I think it'll be Costa probably who gets the goal. And I think it'll probably be someone like Tony that gets the goal for Brentford, probably a penalty or something along those lines.
He ain't going to miss a pen, is he?
So the only thing is Sarr saving him at the moment.
Yeah, with his wrist,
Yeah.
Fair play to him. Anyway,
the only thing is, I just don't know, is there a certain point maybe in the next 2-3 games where maybe you've got to say maybe it's time for Sarkic to come in? If Jose Sarr is making any more mistakes.
If the risk is getting worse, I mean, if he's fine to play on it, he's fine to play on it. But if the risk is getting worse, then you can't be leaving a backup goalkeeper on the bench. I think that's just ludicrous.
I'm just
wrist and it's hurting him and it's affecting his performance. I don't see why he wouldn't bring in the backup.
Well, I think there was maybe one of the goals. I think it was maybe Maddison's goal where I think some goalkeepers would probably say that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if one of them. I can't remember which one it was. One of them. I thought there was a possibility of he could have done a bit better.
Is it his right or left wrist broken?
Right wrist.
I think he dives to left for Maddison's, didn't he?
I can't remember, but I just remember one of them seeing the replay. I think it was Match of the Day. I can't remember where it was, and I was thinking maybe.
I don't watch Match of the Day if we lose. I can't stand it.
Yeah, same. Neither do I. Anyway, let's go on to this segment that we're going to bring in whenever we do the podcast. That'll be weekly, monthly. I don't really know, but we're going to bring it in, and it's basically I'm going to share the screen now. You're going to see I'm going to expose my Twitter, which I didn't want to do, but I'll bring it up now. Can everyone see that? Okay.
It's coming. Yeah, there you
go.
Yep. So basically, I'm going to go through a few tweets that I've seen recently. And I thought, yeah, they were decent then. So obviously we've got this from Charlie Bew 1 or Daryl Smith. Obviously the video that everyone's seen of Adama racing a few lads in
Sainsbury's. A million
views. It absolutely banged. It was just I think with the negativity and toxicity in the club, I think everyone smiled at that. You know what I mean? Like, I know there was a few your dads on Facebook going, but he got injured, or don't want him to get injured.
Imagine he pulled the hamstring doing that.
Lord. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed that personally. I shared it on the Instagram and I thought, yeah, that's class. That fair play to him. I mean, you can't argue. He's always been a humble guy. And yeah, just shows he's a class act, really. And fair play to him. And then here I'm going to bring up a thread which I've seen. Hopefully it comes up.
Back to negativity. Here we go.
Yeah, back to negativity. Probably should have ended on the Adama part, but oh well.
Yeah.
Got this thread from this guy here. Really good thread, to be fair to him. Great work. I think I've got another tweet from this guy, so free publicity for him on the Wolfpack podcast.
Couldn't believe how far down this thread went. I kept scrolling. I was like, I forgot how bad it was.
For a Wolves thread, this interaction here, fair play. It shows how good of a thread it was. Like, fair play to him.
It got shared by a verified account. I don't know who it was, but it got.
But anyway, I'm going to read the first two. I think probably if I got time. So obviously got the Vitinha and Renato Sanchez thing. Still dubbed as shit by some fans, which I have seen on Facebook. Sadly, he was shit on the Nuno. Like, mate, the system he was playing.
He didn't play him.
Didn't play him. He was playing in the wrong system. For me, the biggest example is Messi under Poch. I mean, this is Messi we're talking about.
Yeah.
It shows that players playing the wrong system, they don't get shown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This one here, Matt Hobbs, what a man. Enzo Fernandez, everyone knows.
I don't know if he's back yet. Does anyone know if he's come back yet?
Yeah, to be fair.
He's probably still out there on his holidays.
Trying to get a manager now, isn't he? But yeah. Bring up here. I'm not one that uses FBref a lot and sort of judges a player off it, but I think it's a decent metric. And I mean, I'm not, at the end of the day, he ain't a Wolves player, so I don't want to spend too much on this. But I mean, we missed out on something there, in my opinion. And the worst part about it, as mentioned in the tweet, is we sort of gave up. You know what I mean? We could have gone back in for him, but we didn't. Let me bring up the next tweet here. We haven't got long left, so we're just gonna. Oh my god! I brought up my Facebook by accident. It's basically
Facebook and Twitter exposed in one day, man.
I know, and everyone knows I run the Instagram now. So Oh well. But anyway, I was going to bring up the tweet that Liam Keane did. It was I got it off Facebook, and obviously talk about possible manager. Do we think it happens? Probably not. What do you think about that? Do you think we get a manager in? We mentioned it, and I don't think we will get a manager in. I think we need to, so we can have that sort of camp during the World Cup, gel with a few players. I understand not every player is going to be there, but I still think it'll help. And then obviously here, Scott Sellers. I say the segment's called Tweet of the Week. This is a good tweet, but it still does my head in looking at it right now.
This is negative tweet of the week. Well, we should have positive tweet of the week and negative tweet of the week.
It's tweet of the week, but it can be positive, negative. But I'm not really a fan. I don't really have anything to say on it. I'm not very happy even looking at it, to be fair.
Collins to Nunes in the 10, ping it to Adama and Hope is what I can see.
As I mentioned earlier, don't forget the overlap, mate. That is crucial. That is crucial.
That adds another layer, that, Matt.
I mean,
forcing Davies to play Nunes at number 10.
Yeah. So the worst thing is we have no sport. Everyone says we have no sporting director, but the board needs to look at it and think these two ain't it. You know what I mean? Like we have to get people that know about football, or else this club ain't going to change. It's simple as obviously you want us to be on the pitch to be good, but off the pitch, this has to be sorted. It's simple as. It's not just Scott Sellers. 100%. I think it's Jeff Shy, and
I'm not saying that. I don't think that these two have to completely go. I just think that we need a director to be in charge of it, and maybe Scott can move on to do something different in the business. But I'm just saying
these guys should not be anywhere near the football aspect of the club. They're not footballing brains. Scott Sellers is the technical director. And Jeff Shee's the chairman. They shouldn't be anywhere near the tactics of the football. We need a sporting director. We need a sporting director and a manager as soon as we can. It's time to force them to pull their finger out, stop messing around, get the sporting director in, get a coach in, and then we'll be okay. We've got a good amount of quality in that squad, and we should be doing a lot better than well. We should be nowhere near relegation.
I agree.
We need confidence. We need a sporting director. We need a manager, and I think
we need a back three.
So I'm gonna. We've got like a minute left, literally, but I'm gonna go for a few questions, really rapidly. Do you think Fosun are looking to sell? In my opinion, no. But if their debt keeps getting worse, they could. Relegated ? Right now, you'd have to say possibly, but I think we'll be okay. I think the quality will show. We need a manager.
Leeds and Bournemouth are looking crap, so we've got a chance.
3 or 4 at the back, we've discussed. Do you think anything can reignite the players? Yeah, a manager. When are we starting the protest? Hopefully soon. No, we won't start a protest. We'll probably just sing a few chants. There's some good ones. Not a question, but personally believe we've massively missed Donk. Don't need to talk about that. Personally, it's a load of bollocks.
Boubacar Traoré is a better replacement than Donk.
Yeah, I mean, Donk had one good game, but anyway. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I don't want it to be sort of the same podcast as any other podcast, because there's some really good ones. But I really hope you've enjoyed this episode, lads. All quality. 1877, so many. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope
Cheers,
the next podcast we do.
See ya.
You can join in. See
you
later.
Wolves.
Up the Wolves. See you in a bit.